You want to see some fire stuff? I like the fire stuff. Alright, let's do it. So I made this leather pouch to carry anything I need. I sometimes carry it on my belt. Sometimes I just carry it in my pack. It's a great little pouch, simply made with some basic leather craft skills. But I have another video there you could watch if you're interested in some of the things I do make for myself. So we'll get into it. So the first and most obvious thing is a fire steel. This is a really inexpensive fire steel. The quality is fairly poor. It's not like a Swedish fire steel, which is more robust and makes bigger sparks. So I'm going to probably get rid of this at some point in time and basically replace it with a Swedish fire steel when I can get a chance. Another thing I carry, and I don't always carry it, but I do like it. It's this inexpensive EDC fire starter. Basically, it's just a more compact version of the same thing. You can tie it to your belt. You could have it as part of a lanyard with that loop there, and it works really simple. You just take it out. That's a very sharp striker surface. Then you remove the second piece, which reveals the actual fire steel itself. I don't know if I'm getting that right. And then you reverse that, screw it back on, which gives you something again to grab onto. And you can see it has a little depression right there. I don't know if you can see that. That little depression gives you a place to put your thumb, and then the same deal, you just throw sparks with it. This fire steel is a bit better. I get better sparks out of it than that one. So I do use this on certain trips, and I'll take this maybe even backpacking with me because it's compact and it packs really well. It doesn't have any sharp edges on it or anything like that. So yeah, that's a nice little fire steel. I can't remember how much it costs, but they're not that expensive. This is the knockoff version in Amazon. So I do carry char cloth with me. It's pretty hard to see. I keep it in this baggie so it stays dry. This is kind of a last resort. I don't fool around with it too much. You need very dry materials, and then those materials need to be broken up into very fine particles. Because if you guys seen probably tons of char cloth videos, and you do have to have a bit of a plan going into it. You can't just, go grab some birch bark and call it a day kind of thing. So yeah, it's something I don't use very often, but I keep it as just a backup or a point of interest at some point when drier temperatures are out. Another thing I carry is this little guy. I don't use it as much as I used to. What this is just a strike anywhere match container. It's waterproof, but instead what I've done is I've filled it up with cotton balls. Very quick, easy way to get a fire going, as everybody knows. They're soaked in Vaseline. All you got to do is ply out the cotton ball like so. Throw it down, throw a spark in it, you're off and running. So yeah, this is another nice little backup. Makes things nice and quick and easy. Or if you're not in a huge rush, it's a simple way to get a fire started. And it works well with wet materials because it burns quite a while with the Vaseline that's infused into the cotton. Little mini Bic lighter works great. They last a long time. They don't take a lot of strikes in terms of trying to get something started. They're pretty reliable overall, so it's always good to carry a lighter around. Sometimes when we're making videos and doing stuff, I need to eat and do things on the fly, so I don't really have time to do all this extra prep work. So yeah, Bic lighter is definitely a go-to, and obviously for backpacking as well. Something I want to get into, but I haven't been able to get a chance yet. This is a piece of flint that was gifted to me from my girlfriend when she went over into the UK. Flint's a little more common over there. On the island, you're not going to find it as much. Probably not at all. And what I want to do is try and break this up into a piece that I can maybe do a flint and steel. However, I need to figure out how to get the steel because it's really not an accessible product in terms of like the striker on the island. So I'm going to have to figure that out. So I might go to a metalworks and see if they might be able to knock something up for me real quick. So something I'm looking forward to trying in the future, and obviously use this with the char cloth. And the last thing is wood. No, it's actually, this is actually fat wood. Till recently I hadn't spent much time looking around for it. I am in a pine spruce forest, basically. I wasn't really paying attention, and then one day I kind of stumbled across a stump, quite literally, and cut it open, and it was just all this resinous wood. So everybody knows what fat wood is. I'm not going to get into any other explanation than that. I'm really enjoying using the fat wood. I find it really takes a spark really well, even with the crappy fire steel, so that's kind of an advantage for me. It takes a little while to process it because you want to get these fine shavings if you can get it, but in the end it's a nice, easy, reliable way, and you can strike these things when they're totally wet, so they don't take much. It's kind of like cotton balls and Vaseline. They do very well in wet conditions. If you do the proper prep for your fire, these things will make life a lot easier in terms of getting the fire going.